days around here. I'm just getting into contact juggling. I'm not really good, but I'm going to tell you where I started and where it's been easier for me. Everyone always, if you're getting into contact, knows about the fushi. It's a neat little ball. It's great for learning, but it's just not the right size. And so I had that for a while. I dropped a lot of them. I still do drop a lot of them, but the great thing is they're tough as grit and they're cheap. You can get them on Amazon for really cheap. They're great. But I kept messing with them and I always wanted to get more and more and more and more. So my friend, he told me that the professionals or the people that are really good practice with 100mm clear acrylic. So for my birthday, about a year later, after toying with a fushigi forever, I got my 100mm, and it's great. It really did teach me a lot faster. I was able to isolate a lot better. Things were just so much easier because it's a lot more in your hands. And yeah, the weight, it takes a minute to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's home. And all the things that you can do with your fushigi, you can do with the 100mm and have fun doing it and really convince some people of flotation and isolation much simpler. But then I'm still wanting more and wanting to get better because I keep watching YouTube videos and everything. I was hearing about the Silex, that I should try a Silex and see what a Silex is, but I wanted to get the implosion so that I could see the stuff inside, and plus it's green, so it looks all cool, like it's got some toxic waste in it, but it's really light, like, so it might not be for you, but then again it could be a great starter ball for someone to learn, because I learned how to do my stalls. As you see, they're still kind of shitty, but, well, I'm sorry, but they're still not that good, and the swipes and wipers, they're still kind of, because the weight is just, doing a palm spin is almost impossible for me on the Enigmas, or the nipple sometimes shows. But for learning and not destroying everything in your house and costing you more than all of your new expensive hobby, you should get a Silex to learn. And then I always want more. So then I found out about I saw the 90mm chrome, which is just insanely cool, because this is just slightly smaller than the 100mm clear acrylic. You can pull off a lot of the same illusions and manipulations, and yeah, it does weigh a lot more, so when you're messing around, you know, you're gonna have this weight that you're not really used to, but you learn it quick, and it's really fun. And it seems to me, every time I show people or do anything, that it does isolate a lot more fun, but it gets really, it's a fingerprint magnet. So you gotta think about that. Maybe wear gloves. I've done that, and it turned out pretty nicely. And people were convinced of the magic that is contact juggling and isolation and all the fun stuff that, if you're getting into it, is fun. So this 90mm. I just really like the 90mm. But then I started seeing more of the multi-spin stuff. I started with some 2.56 clear, because they cost a little less when they're clear, of course. And this is an expensive habit, but I don't want to call it a habit, I want to call it a hobby, because it is truly a hobby. And I'm still working on getting the 4, as you can see, but when you do get it, it's fun and it looks cool. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with it. But then, I just recently got to get a size larger, so be sure to check out your hands and what size they are and what's comfortable, what feels good in your hands. Try You're gonna have to spend money to try if you live somewhere like I do. I live in Tennessee, and it's not like I can go down to the local shop and buy these. So it's always going to be ordered from the internet, and you're going to have to just deal with the waiting. But it's worth it because they're just so pristine and beautiful when you get them. And it's really great to move away from the fushigi. It's a little more expensive, but the more expensive, the more beautiful. It truly is. The art. It is contact. I know that's not as good as the mellow metal guy, but hey, I try. And as long as you're having fun, it's all good. You know, you can get a fushigi, and then you mix up a fushigi with a clear one. Make them, you know, just dance around, chase each other, chase them back, you know, you just keep having fun no matter what. And contact juggling. But my suggestion is start with a fushigi, because it's cheap. You can even get a glow in the dark one for cheap. And they're just great little balls to start off with, because you can learn the isolations and stuff. And you can do them all. But you should really, really, really go to the larger size, depending on how big your hands are, because the size of your hands is going to be what ultimately decides how the stuff works from what I've learned so far. And as you can see, I'm not that good, but you got to start somewhere. So, if this was informative, I'm glad. If it wasn't, I'm sorry I bothered you. But if you want to be really daring, just go ahead and spend the money and start off with 100mm. And when it gets cracked, remember this video that I told you just to get a silly little fushigi, because they're so cheap, but they're so tough. And you can learn all the same stuff and do all the same things. It's just on a smaller scale, of course. But that smaller scale then grows into the larger scale that, who knows, the sky's the limit. So, enjoy juggling, because contact juggling is fun.